All right, now let's turn our attention to a big event for the state. It's happening in Raleigh, but this is a big event. We're talking about Dreamville Festival. Dreamville Festival is his fifth year, final year. It's a big deal. It's a 2 day music festival, J. Cole's 2 day music festival. I'm trying to set the scene for you. And this year's lineup includes, of course, J. Cole. He's headlining it. Lil Wayne, 21 Savage, Erykah Badu, just to name a few. And so Dreamville, they do like an economic impact report each year. And so last year, from 2023, it generated $145 million. And it happens at Dorothea Dix Park. It provided 1,300 full-time jobs. So this is a big, outside of just the music and entertainment aspect, it brings in a lot of money. It's a moneymaker there in the area and quite frankly, North Carolina, because people come in from all over. So I got a chance to speak with a guy I grew up listening to. He's a media personality. He's a comedian. He's based here in Charlotte. His name is BDaht. Got a chance to talk to him about it because BDaht is a guy who is all across the state. He's tapped into a lot of things when it comes to the culture here in North Carolina, the entertainment scene. He's been to 3 out of the last 4 Dreamville festivals. So he knows what he's talking about when it comes to Dreamville Festival. And we got a chance to talk about the legacy of the festival, its impact, and also got a chance, since he's based here in Charlotte, also what he has going on. Let's listen in to that full interview I did with BDaht today. Oh, it's the last Dreamville Fest. I remember going to the first one. I was going through pictures the other day, and I'm like, wow, that was really, 2019?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy, man.
And I'm excited, man, like to see where it's going to. Like, I knew that they would have to either move it or it would have to end. Like, it's just too much. Like,
Yeah.
it's so many people in Dorothy Dix Park, dog, like, and just trying to park around their areas and like trying to get hotel. Like, it'd be
Mhm.
crazy, but like, it's just a testament to, people always like to clown North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Like North Carolina doesn't have an identity. We hear stupid stuff like that all the time. So for J. Cole to be able to do something in North Carolina that is of that old Woodstock type vibe and folks just out there all day. Like I'm not a festival guy. Like I'm in my 40s. So festival, like, I'll be glad, Nick, I'll be glad I got the media passes in the back, bro. So I can sit down, get some beverage, some AC. If I just had to sit out there with them people in GA on them lawns with them blankets and
Well,
no.
like me.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna come out there and holler at you. What up, Nick? Oh, I'm going back. Then we can try to finesse with the bands. We can try to finesse with the bands to get you back. Man, it's a lot though, man. But just seeing all walks of life, people travel overseas, like from all different continents to come through, man. Like, and it's awesome. So to end with the Hot Boys, which is one of my favorite groups of all time. Lil Wayne is on my Mount Rushmore of rappers. Then Erykah Badu on Sunday, maybe she's gonna come with that big booty fat suit again. Who knows? So many possibilities, Nick.
What would you say is the legacy? Like, I mean, obviously this weekend hasn't happened, but what would you say from the previous 4 years is like the legacy of this festival?
I think is Man, that's an interesting question. I think it's gonna cement J. Cole as like the mayor of North Carolina, like artistically, and that, like, because we have staple artists, right? Like we have Petey Pablo. They're about to make his song the theme song for North Carolina, and rightfully so. We got Anthony Hamilton. You did Fantasia, America's Idol. You did, but J. Cole has been a bit obscure in the hip hop world and sort of like finding his space in that whole thing as it pertains to North Carolina and him going to New York and really making it there and that type deal. Like, but this cements him as Mount Rushmore North Carolinian. You did, like, he brought a festival here for 5 consecutive years that did extremely well. That brought hundreds of thousands of people, people that normally would have never saw North Carolina or at the very least saw Raleigh, North Carolina, and just what it did for the economy in those spaces. Like, it's legendary. It's legendary. What J. Cole did in these 5 years is absolutely legendary, bro.
And to say you've been all over the state is an understatement as far as like you just tapped into everything. Would you say this festival was like right on time for North Carolina, or was it long overdue?
I think it was right on time.
Mhm.
And I say that because we're in a space where festivals are really especially in the urban demographic, they're a lot more attended by us now. Like usually like festivals and stuff was really more of a white person sport. Like we really, like that wasn't really our bag. But then you have different festivals with Made in America, and then South, what is it, South by Southwest joint in
Yeah.
Texas, and these types of things. Like so to have something like that, like I remember growing up and when I was in college at Winston-Salem State, the Apple Chill was that big thing. Like you wanted to get to Chapel Hill and go to Apple Chill. Like Apple Chill was a big, but it wasn't where it was a bunch of artists performing. It was just a bunch of people just mobbing on Franklin Street and just vibing down there in that space. So I think the culmination of all those different spaces of this part of a festival with the artistry and then having an artist that was big enough nationally to where he could garner the support of something of that magnitude. I think all the stars aligned at the right time.
All the festivals, all the Dreamville festivals.
Say it again.
You been at each one, every Dreamville festival?
The one that I missed was the 2022 year when Carolina was at the Final Four. I was down in New Orleans
Right.
going crazy on Bourbon Street. But I heard they was watching it at the freaking
Yep.
Dreamville. And folks was going crazy when Carolina beat Duke. Oh my gosh. That was lit.
I
That
remember
was lit.
that.
You was there, you was at that one?
I was working in Raleigh at the time. I was a weekend
Okay.
anchor, so I remember. Yeah, it was always just covering it. I always say it's crazy, but it's like a good craziness.
Yeah. No, it was amazing. Like the fandom in that space. And that was my first year as the arena host for Carolina basketball. So like it was a huge magical ride. Like all of the fans, like we were down in Bourbon Street and in New Orleans, like just I flew down. The flights were so expensive, Nick. Like I was not like mortgage prices for flights. So one of my partners, he was like, "Yo, I got a friend that flies a plane. You can fly with us." And I was like, "All right, bro." When I get over here to the plane, standing beside the plane, I'm 6'2". I was taller than the plane. Okay. I could look over the top of the plane. The plane was a four-seater. It was like a riding in a freaking Nissan Maxima with wings in the sky. That's what it was. It
It's
was a
crazy.
RAV4 in the sky is what I was riding. And I'm talking about you can only go like 2,500 feet in the air. So like I'm seeing the tops of houses and like it was insane, but it was the most fun flight I have ever taken. Just that whole year, I'll never forget. Like, but as it pertains to Dreamville, I remember my folks being at Dreamville while I was in New Orleans. So we was just texting back and forth. They like, we watching it down here. What we doing? It was electric. If you were a Carolina fan or a Duke fan, you were locked in that day, man. That was amazing.
Man, I remember that, yo. Like,
Yeah.
what is a tip? Okay, with Dreamville. So, like this weekend, what does your weekend look like? Do you get down there? What today's Thursday? Do you leave tomorrow morning? Friday? Do you leave Friday morning? What happens?
It's nonstop action, man. Like, and because I wear so many hats, this year I'm running for Mr. Alumni for Winston-Salem State University. So this weekend we have a national alumni meeting Saturday morning at 10 a.m. So my weekend is a bit different as it pertains to regular Dreamville weekends. This weekend, tomorrow, I got to do sports radio in Charlotte. Oh, my boy QCB. I'll leave there at 6, get to Greensboro, Winston, get some grooming done, get some rest, wake up, be at the event, the National Alumni Meeting at 7:30 to set up my table and do some soliciting for my campaign. Get done with that by noon. Then I will drive to Raleigh, check into my hotel, and then I will get over to Dreamville. I'm very worried about that because if you've been to Dreamville, you know that parking and like you don't know like do you catch an Uber there because trying to catch an Uber to leave is insane, dang near impossible. Do you try to catch a ride there and it's going to be 100,000 people? So do you just hope that somebody you know can give you a ride afterwards and you catch an Uber? Like I'm strategically trying to think all that stuff out right now, Nick. But when I get there, by the time I get there, it'll be about 4 o'clock. Acts will be performing. Like if you've been there, you know it's two different ends of stages. So you have to look at the schedule and see which artists. That's the strategic thing you have to do too. Like which artist is on what stage. Okay, I know I want to see Bass, I want to see Loot, I want to see, but then I want to see. So you're trying to figure out which stage to be where, in addition to rest and getting water, because it's nonstop walking. And don't wear your good shoes out there. I know that for a fact. I'm wearing some old beat up blazers out there. Like I'm gonna be fresh from the ankles up. Ankles up, I'm gonna be taking all the pictures, but my feet, nah, no, sir, buddy.
And it's also too like even like the last day when Cole closes it out. Do you stay for Cole's entire set, or do you leave a little early, or you just kind of like thug it out and you're like, all right, I'm just gonna wait until it clears out completely and get an Uber somehow?
Usually I have, because I'm working media and usually I'm
Mhm.
riding with station vehicles. I've been with 102 Jams, but this year I'll be with Larry and Power 98. So they have parking in the back.
Okay.
So once the show is over, like usually I go to the back, they have little VIP areas back there, and folks are just sort of filing out of those areas. And that's when the heavy hitters, like, cause see, you got bands. We all got bands to get
Mhm.
backstage. But then there comes a certain point in the night where your band doesn't work. Your band's no good here, Nick. Okay, if your face card ain't good, if J. Cole don't know you, you're standing on the outside looking through the fence like, wow, looks like it's a great time over there. You don't have any access to that. Absolutely. So you get to a point in the night like where you know your rank in the band tier, and you just start to respectfully exit so you aren't escorted out type deal. But it's cool though, man. Like I definitely stay to the end. And then Larry, he said he has a party or something, so we'll probably be trying to get to that. Like it's just so much stuff going on. Like Friday, I wish I could get down there because usually that's where they have like the listening sessions. I know Rhapsody's doing something down there. They do a lot of pictures. I remember one year they recreated the Forest Hill Drive's album cover, just the top of the house. So you could go and sit on the top of the house like J. Cole was, and then they took a picture and you could have those as sort of mementos and stuff. So encompassing the entire Dreamville, like him introducing his artists to us and ones that are already fans, just being able to see them in that celebrity status. It's just a dope weekend, man. Like it's a dream weekend, and that's what makes it Dreamville because it's like that's what that weekend is. Like you meet so many different people from like all over the world, not just the country. Literally, I met folks from Australia. I met folks from Europe. Like I just coming to Raleigh, North Carolina, Dorothy Dix Park, which I didn't even know existed before 2019. All to
Right.
see this. So this is dope, man.
Man, I one thing, you sort of alluded to it the entire interview, like things that you're doing, man. Like I just want to get in to like what are you working on? Because I saw you on Breakfast Club recently, and then I see you here, and then you're gonna be at Dreamville. And it's like, like what are you working on?
I'm a big deal, Nick. Okay, I'm a big deal. And I do a lot of things. Like no, I'm really blessed, man. Like, my wife and I talk about that a lot. My wife is an engineer. She makes great money. She's a project manager, but she isn't necessarily, and I say this respectfully, isn't the happiest just because it isn't what she loves to do. It's what she has to do to make sure she gets her check. And she's damn good at it, top tier in her league. But, she likes interior design. She wish she could do interior design all day for a living. And the fact that I get to provide for my family off my God-given abilities of just entertaining and hosting and comedy, like I'm really blessed in that magnitude. So um, from that, I graduated from Winston-Salem State University with a mass comm degree, and I was already doing morning radio. I did morning radio for 17 years at 102 Jams in Greensboro. Around 2020, I jumped out on faith and started a podcast that does very, very well on the Black Effect Podcast Network on iHeart. It's a Black History podcast called I Didn't Know, Maybe You Didn't Either. And on that podcast, I just share Black history facts that I didn't know. And maybe you didn't either. Like I didn't know that Gladys Mae West, a Black woman, invented GPS. I didn't know that. I didn't know Dorothy Counts, right here in Charlotte, North Carolina, was the Ruby Bridges of Charlotte, North Carolina. She integrated Harding, and there are pictures of her being spat on by white people. And I got a chance to meet her a couple weeks ago, and I was just floored. Like, so that podcast has been going on every February for the past 4 years. And Breakfast Club, they play episodes every day in February. I'm so thankful for that. But that podcast is very successful, and we've expanded it now to talk about other things that I didn't know, maybe you didn't either. And so you can find that on wherever you get your platform. I mean, your podcast platforms. Just put in IDKMYDE. I didn't know, maybe you didn't either, and you can find all those episodes. We got like over 150 episodes of those. So from there, like doing the podcast, and now I just made an announcement yesterday. I've just got on at Power 98 back in radio. I'm the sixth man of radio. I do arena hosting and PA announcing for FAMU football, and I've done arena hosting for the Hornets and for I'll say the Bobcats, but the Tar Heels. Like anywhere there's a microphone and entertaining, bro. Like I just like to be there, and I like to add value to situations. So I'm just fortunate and blessed in that space, Nick.
I just want to say, dude, I'm proud of you, man. This first time us meeting, but like from High Point, you said 102, listen to you on 102, worked in Raleigh. We'll see you at the Tar Heel games when I got a chance to cover. I mean, I just saw you everywhere. So I just want to say, man, dude, I'm proud of you, man. You are inspiration to me. One of the reasons why I decided to get a mass comm degree from High Point University. So like, I just wanted to tell you that, man, give you your flowers.
No, I appreciate that, man. Like I sincerely appreciate that, because just black man to black man, first of all, we don't do that enough. But also, like, you just never know who you're impacting. Like, there's somebody watching this that one day is gonna be like, Nick, man, I saw you doing your thing, like from the podcast, and like you motivated me to, like, you just never know. So just keep doing what you're doing passionately. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing passionately, you dig, and we just gonna keep winning in this thing, like for real. But I appreciate that, man. Like for real, for real.
You got anything else before we wrap up?
No, I just want to say this last thing for
Yeah,
anybody.
go ahead.
Anybody that has love for HBCUs and would like to support my campaign for Mr. Alumni, my platform is $1 and a dream. When I started at Winston-Salem State University in 2000, all I had was $1 and a dream. That's it. I got 100,000 followers on Instagram. If I can get each one of them to give me $1 to my campaign, all money goes to scholarships for future Rams. So that'd be $100,000 in scholarship money. If you would like to participate, you got love for HBCUs or you're a Ram, please donate $1. My Cash App is Mr. Alumni 2025. Mr. Alumni 2025 on Cash App. That's the best way. I think everybody pretty much got Cash App. If you don't, you can find me on social media, BDaht, BDaht. Find me anywhere there. But I would really appreciate that, man, so that I can do my part in bringing up the next generation of HBCU students.
And that was Charlotte-based comedian, radio personality, media personality, BDaht, and we're talking about, I got a chance to talk about the impact of Dreamville Festival. Is coming up this weekend, the 5th and final Dreamville Festival. So I know a lot of folks here in the area are going to head out to that festival. If you do, go out there. Make sure you be safe, and as BDaht said, stay hydrated, man. So